I'm ready when you are.
Okay. Hello, my name is Tom Scott. I'm President and Chief Operating Officer of Informa Economics. We are a broad-based food, agriculture, and agribusiness consulting firm. We work extensively in the ethanol sector on projects such as feasibility studies, business plans, market analyses, and we've also done tremendous work in the risk management area with ethanol firms as well as other types of agribusiness firms as well. Our headquarters is in the United States, but we have an office in Sao Paulo that is also extensively involved in these areas with the ethanol industry, but across the whole spectrum of agribusiness firms as well. Just a few comments about the ethanol industry. It's in a very, very interesting phase. We've gone through a very dramatic increase in production and I think reached a point of market acceptability where the industry is really in a sustainable long-term position to move forward. Now the question is, where do we go from here and what do we need to do to get to a future place of further production and further market acceptability? The industry was very fortunate through much of this growth phase in the sense that they were able to have good margins and despite periods of high feedstock costs, were able to work their way into petroleum markets in a way where they were able to make really good returns with the inevitable periods where there was margin compression either due to feedstock cost increases or decreases on the marketing side. What we're seeing now is an industry structure in places like Brazil and other parts of the world where ethanol is produced, such as the United States, where the market has become much more mature. And in this mature phase, what is really important, really critical for firms to survive and go into the future is that they manage their margins really well. And they're going to manage their margins in ways that traditional agribusiness firms and traditional energy firms have done, in part by using derivative instruments, futures, options, swaps, and other types of over-the-counter instruments. This is a very positive thing for the market, but also it's something that they should approach with caution and with an understanding of what these tools can do and what these tools cannot do. We're very interested to see and happy to see that the Bolsa in Brazil has started an ethanol contract. We think that this will be very, very useful for ethanol producers and marketers in Brazil as they try to manage those margins and use the futures market as a risk management tool. And the objective in using these derivative instruments is to really get the risk associated with a typical ethanol operation, the price risk of the operation's margin, getting that aligned with the risk profile of the firm. And the risk profile of the firm is going to differ depending on capital structure, depending on location, depending on desired returns. And so the right mix of risk management tools is very, very critical. For some companies, it might be more applicable to use options, some it might be more applicable to use futures, some a combination of both, some not at all. And I think in the case of ethanol producers in Brazil, they've done very, very well up till now, largely without using those instruments. But from what we see happening, and as the market evolves, and as marketers and producers and users become more sophisticated, these tools will be very, very helpful, again, in getting those returns close to what the company's expectations are. I think the other issue that's going to be present in the market, and we've already seen it to a certain extent, is that we've started to see some consolidation among ethanol firms, among ethanol producers. And again, this is going to be a helpful circumstance from a marketing standpoint and also from a price risk management standpoint. We can aggregate up some of the needs and therefore have maybe a lower cost per unit if we're talking about price risk management. And marketing can be much more effective under those circumstances as well.
Tom, what do you think Brazil should do to increase liquidity and inspire the confidence of foreign banks that would then include the futures in their portfolios?
Yeah. I think, in terms of the liquidity, and we in the United States have learned this lesson the hard way. I think in Brazil, you're going to probably have to learn it as well. Sometimes it just takes patience, and it takes a certain amount of dedication to that concept of having a futures market, of having a derivatives market, and letting it, encouraging it to move forward until finally, whether it's a market event or some participants, sort of get into the market and really increase that volume so that there is the liquidity to get in and out of the market. Right now, there's not much liquidity on the contract that's traded in Brazil, on the ethanol contract that's traded in Brazil, but I would not worry about that right now. I think you need to take the long-term view and understand that it takes time to build this liquidity. The best thing that can be done right now, whether it's the people at the exchange or people in the industry, is to educate the financial community of the value of these types of instruments, because I think a lot of banks really don't understand the role that these instruments play in the risk management of a firm.
So more marketing is needed.
More marketing is needed, and I would say that it's a marketing that with a strong educational focus, because these are complex instruments. They are not easily understood, even by somebody who's coming at it from the financial sector. And I think showing them, demonstrating the application in terms of managing margins and managing risks is really, really important. I would say it's more of an educational task, or as much of an educational task as it is a marketing task.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay.
Wonderful.
All right.
Wonderful.
Is that what you needed?